Welcome. This is a handstand workshop drill. So this is going to be just a quick session on some of the drills that if you want to hold a stable, strong handstand, you want to be up there for like a while, you need to start practicing these things every day and integrating them into any other movement things that you're already doing. So the only thing that we're really going to need here today is like a little yoga block. I'm using it as both like a step. So if you just have something that you can step up onto, and I'm also going to use it for a little bit of engagement. So first thing we're going to do is get on our back. Why? Because we need to practice holding the shape of a handstand while we're not on our hands, so our body can get strong and become aware of that. So get onto your back. And the first little drill we can do just to warm it up, I recommend this before really any inversion practice, is getting something like a yoga block in between your legs. Give yourself a nice little squeeze there, pressing into the feet, getting a little extension of the hips. So even though my feet are on the floor here, my arms by my side, got my hips extended, this is the position I want to be in for a handstand. I want to, I can't quite get my arms all the way overhead because I've kind of got the floor in the way here. But this is how I want to be holding my pelvis, holding my core. So we do this position first to really set this up in our body. Noticing if we're dumping our low back, it's not about reaching up super high. It's about holding yourself stable and strong. Not always about going to that full end range of something, but even about just holding ourselves back, seeing if we can stabilize it and control it from that maybe more controlled and certainly more neutral place. So you're holding this here, you're working your glutes, you let them fire up. Stretch out your wrists. So we're getting on our hands, we're going to stretch out our wrists and give them a little bit of prep. You want to press into your feet and even let your glutes start to work a little bit here. They're going to be important for holding you up when you're upside down in that handstand. Even though we're on our hands, we're working our shoulders, glutes are still very much going to be a part of it. Stretch out the other wrist. So probably even want to do this for a little bit longer than how I'll demo it in the video here. Feel free to extend this drill out as long as you'd like, really until your glutes are really fired up. After that, I recommend just doing some kind of core stability work. What I like to do to really just kind of take it nice and quick is I could take like a foam roller or a yoga block again, bring my knees over my hips, connect that block to the knees, connect my forearms onto this yoga block. So I'm keeping my sacrum grounded again. I want to keep my torso in the same shape that it's going to hold when I'm in a handstand. If I'm lifting my tailbone, that's not going to help my handstands. It might help with some other things, but it's not going to help with that position of holding it upside down. So you're going to keep your sacrum on the ground. You're going to extend one leg at a time and try and get an exhale when you extend it. So again, we're practicing coming into this handstand position, right? I don't have my arms overhead, but my leg extended, my pelvis neutral, my core is on. And again, I'm just giving my body awareness here, awareness of how to hold itself when it's got a different kind of demand placed on it. So again, you're going to want to do this for about a minute or so until you really feel your core is burning up. And again, notice if your pelvis is moving a lot for you. So if I was like dumping a lot in my back, I'd probably lose this block pretty easily versus when I'm holding my pelvis really neutral, just stays really stable in place because the knee of the leg that's staying there, that pelvis around it isn't moving. You're just moving the actual leg inside the hip socket here, which is how you're going to want to approach those handstands. All right, so your core, do that until that feels a little bit more warmed up. And then we'll get into the third kind of drill here. So, right, we got our body ready for the shape, got our glutes activated, worked into our core. Let's get the last part of the core working for ourselves, our shoulders. Come to hands and knees, little quadruped here. So we're going to practice this position of the scapula again, just because it's useful to know the three main ones that you're going to find yourself in. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, that's retraction. And then you can push in your hands, almost like you can pull your hands away from each other. You're going to feel your shoulder blades sitting on your back ribs, neutral. If I push in my hands, spread my shoulder blades away from each other, you got protraction. It's even a little easier to see with a little block on the back of my shoulder blades. So again, come to neutral, and then I'll squeeze my shoulder blades together, really retract them there, then come back up to neutral, and I push in my hands, really dome that upper back protraction. So protraction is a movement from neutral. I'm not going down to retraction here now. I'm just at neutral. Then I'm pushing and spreading to protraction. And this is a little move, like a mini push-up. It's called a serratus puff. So we're activating the serratus anterior, really important muscle. It's also called the boxing muscle because it works those extensions of the arms. So working our serratus puff, You can do that from quadruped. We'll do it 2 times in quad, and then we'll slide our feet back, increase that demand for plank. So you take a big inhale here, then exhale, push your hands and little doming of the upper back. And see if you can hold that for a moment or two. Don't just shy away from it. Come back with the shoulder blades on the back ribs. And then again, pushing the hands, feel the shoulder blades spread. And we'll bring them on back. Good. So we'll slide our legs back. So now we're in a little plank position. We want to feel strong and get ready for that. Only won't push up. We'll stay in neutral, pushing the hands. Spread the shoulder blades, a little doming of the upper back. Serratus puff. You want to feel these muscles under those shoulder blades firing up. And then neutral, bring it on back. Pushing the hands, dome the upper back. Little serratus puff. And then bring them back to just neutral, not retracted, just neutral. Pushing the hands, serratus puff. Protract, protract, and back to neutral. So again, you can come down, take a little rest, or as you start to build that endurance, get stronger and stronger with them, work your way up to 10, 15 of them. It's only going to benefit that press. So again, those first 3 drills, I know they're not exactly exciting things, but it's kind of like, think of it like brushing your teeth or doing your laundry, just stuff that you have to check in with day in and day out in order just to maintain, in order to make sure all this stuff is lined up, ready to go. You've already packed your bags. Now you're ready to take flight, so to speak. So we'll keep working with some of these floor drills that are really, really beneficial. First one is coming from just this quadruped. Using a tuck of the toes, a push into the hands to, once again, dome your upper back. So there's that protraction again, and hoist your pelvis up. It just sets you up into a good position for being upside down. Now, one of the first drills you can practice is just from here, very simply, stepping 1 foot forward, stepping it back, stepping the other foot forward, stepping it back, and trying to keep your hands on the ground. That will start to build a little bit of endurance around these muscles that hold us upside down. You'll notice too, I'm even getting a little bit of a shift of my chest, more over top of my hands, doing a little bit more of that position we want to be in when we invert. Now to take that up a little bit further, you keep your right foot on the ground, lift your left leg. So this is the left leg extension. We're stepping it halfway through and then coming to a standing L. So I move my chest over top of my hands. I'm not like super close to my leg. That's not what it's about. It's about creating the inversion, creating the shoulder blades on the back of the ribs. Right foot comes down, left leg goes up and back. So strong in that left leg, it extends back. Notice if you're lifting your hip, think about it, it's gonna lift you and take you out of the position in handstand too. Step the left foot forward, and again, shift that chest. So again, we wanna work it on both sides so we don't develop asymmetries, so we don't get imbalanced in our body. You wanna be able to do something on both sides, especially an active move like this. Step the left foot, under the left hip, move the chest over the hands. Last one here, let's take 3 breaths. Think you could soften your chest towards the floor. Grab the floor with the fingertips. Keep the elbows straight. Don't let them bend, because then that's kind of giving up on the press into the hands. And then you can lower that right foot down. It can be really nice to just shake your wrists out after something like that. Maybe even circle them a few times, mobilize them. And let's get the other side. So you want to do that same drill. We'll go through it a little quicker since we already just ran it. But you have the hands on the ground, push, spread the shoulder blades, hoist the pelvis up, left foot is down, right leg lifts. So step my right foot, not like all the way up to my hands. I still need some room to move my chest over them. So I move it about halfway underneath that right hip, lift my left leg and move my chest over my hands. Left foot comes down, right leg goes all the way up and back. So the right foot steps, you shift it, standing L, left leg is up, left foot comes down, right leg goes up. And then one more time, right foot steps and shift it. Left leg lifts, soften the chest towards the floor without bending your elbows. It's that same idea of leaning, letting yourself slowly let the chest be received. And then you can lower that left foot down. Whoo! Shake it on out. So now we'll move to the wall. First, we'll do our down dog on the wall. Now, down dog on the wall, we can do this against the couch. We can use a number of things to substitute, but the wall is going to be the most effective because it's going to get you into that pike position that you're going to want to feel. It's one of the things that's going to help carry you up into a handstand in a stable and strong way. So you'll bring your feet against the wall. You'll take your hands by your sides, and you want to make sure your back is upright. A lot of us have a tendency to be rounded from our everyday lives. So if your legs are straight and you're rounded, it's not really worth anything. It's worthless. You want to bend your knees and get your spine long. knees are supposed to have a little bend to them. Think of them like springs. It's functional when they have a little bend to them. Yeah, when we're upside down, we'll straighten them and get them a big reach and strength. But if at any point a straight leg rounds your back, then don't prioritize the straight legs and instead prioritize the elongated back, the engagement of the core. So once you got that length tension relationship between your legs and your back worked out, I'm a little tighter in the back line. So I gotta have some bend into the knees. And if you're finding you're rounding it all, try that out too. And you'll bring your hands next to either side of the pelvis. Again, pelvis, that big bone structure that surrounds your hip joint. So we're gonna flip ourselves around and you'll keep your hands in place, but they've just kind of changed spots here. And then from your quadruped, you wanna take your time to get up there. So first, let yourself push in the hands, spread the shoulder blades, hoist the pelvis up, take another breath here. Really let all your knuckles connect down into the ground. And then walk one foot followed by the other on up the wall. So you keep the low ribs contained, you'll let your gaze drop back. Stop trying to hold yourself up with your neck. Your core is stronger. It's gonna do a better job. Yeah, I know it's scary and sometimes we wanna look forward to see where we're going, but the more you learn to just release your neck, the more aligned you're gonna be. And so again, you wanna work that breath to, just so you can actually hear me, you wanna work that breath to 10 breaths. Maybe start to take a little bit further past that. But don't keep going for the breath when you feel instability. I'll show an example of that. So like, go for the breath, but hold yourself strong. So again, I come to that down dog on the wall, walk my feet on up. Now I'm breathing with it. But if I start to like collapse my ribs and bend my elbows, then it's time to come down because my muscles are telling me, hey, that's too much. My endurance has been peaked. Give it a little rest. Come on back to it. Better to do it from a place of 100% strength, feeling really confident, than to do it from a place of reaching and overextending, right? It's like somebody going into it without having practiced the drills before they go into the full move set. All right, so we'll keep working the wall here. And now we're gonna work a few butt bumps. So butt bumps are a great way to create some confidence in our leaning into the scapula. The goal is not to kick our legs up. In fact, never, ever lead with your top leg into a handstand. It's just not a smart strategy. You're oftentimes gonna topple yourself over. Use your bottom leg instead, or use the press of both legs from the bottom, just like this hop drill that we're gonna try. So the hands again, secure on the floor. And I know it's harder to see just my angles here, but I'm against this door here, my wall, and I've probably got like 2, maybe 3 inches of distance between my fingertips and the wall here. I'm pretty close to the wall because I'm gonna want my sacrum. It's called a butt bump, but really we're taking our sacrum, just giving a little tap against the wall and coming on down. And this is where we also practice our coil and spring. So again, you'll come tuck the toes, hoist the pelvis up. You'll find that lifted position of the hips. Like a squat, you wanna bend your knees, sit your hips back. You're gonna push all the way through your toes, keep your legs in close, bump your butt against the wall. I even get myself a little bit closer there because I didn't come down quite as fast as I'd like. So again, I'm working my coil and spring. I can even keep my legs long there and work my hiking. And again, I could work a little bit away from the wall, move my hands just a little bit back. Again, look back at the toes. This is a great drill too to practice keeping your gaze down because you'll look back at your toes and then it's like, don't let your gaze lift. So you might feel like, you're gonna topple forward, but then you won't because you have the wall in front of you there. One more drill at the wall. So again, using that bottom leg to direct ourselves, and this will go into our final drill using a step. Using this bottom leg to direct ourselves, we can strengthen that in down dog on the wall by again, setting it up, coming to it, tucking the toes, hoisting the pelvis up high, really feeling that firm connection into the hands, and then walking the feet up and off the wall. So again, strong and stable here, and then I'm lowering one leg at a time, like I'm marching. You just get a little alternating march back and forth there. Again, try to make it 3, 4, 5 in a row with each leg. All right, last move here. We're gonna work a little bit of step and prep. And so here's how you can practice using your bottom leg to feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more strong. Tuck my shirt in so I'm not just losing it on my way up. All right. So you could use a little step like you see in the gym. You could use like a firm like milk crate or something like that, as long as it didn't feel too high. I'm going to use a yoga block on its lowest setting. And what I'm going to do is allow myself to step onto that yoga block, just like we did before. And in fact, you can even kind of set this up in the quadruped where you've just got, I'll show my other leg, maybe easier. You've maybe already got one foot on the block, the other foot's on the floor. So you're just ready to go. And then here, as you lift that leg, you can move your hands back a little bit. But we want those hands directly underneath the shoulders here, again, so that when we get a little lean into it, we can practice keeping this bottom leg low. And I like to bend it, pull it in. But if I can stretch it out and even make L's with my legs, then I just have a little bit more opportunity to feel that control of the pelvis. Again, my right leg is up there, but it's not leading the way. My bottom leg pressing me off. So those three are all little good drills to work those handstands. Again, it's not necessarily about, can we just fling ourselves up there, but how do we establish strength so that when we are ready to go up, it feels like an affirmation, a firm press down using that bottom leg. And honestly, even just for now, as you're starting that off, work that bottom leg staying low, work it staying in. It'll take a little bit of patience, but if you establish that, and you start to lift it up, then that'll really, really bring it home. All right, so hope you enjoy these drills. I hope they help a little bit, and please comment below if you have any questions.